They're now coming for the Star Spangled Banner. From the Daily Mail. Outrage as activists and journalists say the Star Spangled Banner should no longer be the national anthem because it was written by a slave owner, Francis Scott Key, and suggests John Lennon's Imagine as a replacement. Oh my god. Alright, before we get going, God, this is going to be a fun one. Go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know if there's anything else in the news that you want me to talk about. Also, don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Parler at Thorburn. And if you'd like to help donate to the channel, a fairly new channel. I'm growing, trying to get everything going here. I've got my Patreon, Subscribestar, and PayPal listed below. Any donations do help to grow this channel. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into this. So, see the bullet points here. Historian Daniel E. Walker and author Kevin Powell believe the national anthem should be replaced. Like we give a shit. Powell suggests it should be replaced with John Lennon's Imagine, literally the worst song ever written in the history of humanity. The worst song. So, what's hilarious about replacing the national anthem with Imagine is that part of the song, the song is basically, it's a communist diatribe. It's a communist ballad. And part of it, they talk about imagine a country with no borders. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to suggest that we should replace our national anthem with a song that talks about a world with no borders. Really? Really? Come on, Marx, come get your useful idiots in check. They're even running too rampant for you now. Oh, God. All right. The point to Francis Key... The point to Francis Scott Key's history as a slave... They point to Francis Scott Key's history as a prolific slave owner. Key wrote the poem that eventually became the Star Spangled Banner in 1814. He had just watched Fort McHenry in Baltimore withstand British bombardment and was inspired by the surviving American flag flying over the harbor. Yes, because it was a moment of American triumphantalism. But he also defended the rights of slave owners and believed African Americans should return to Africa. You know who else thought that? Abraham Lincoln, the man who freed the slaves. He didn't initially agree with integrating freed slaves into American society. He talked about either recolonizing them in Central America or Liberia. So, I guess that's why they're going after statues of Lincoln now, too. All right, let's keep going. Critics say they should replace the national anthem. Critics say replacing the national anthem is taking the ongoing overhaul of culture and society too far. You know what? It's already gone way too far. I mean, they've been toppling statues of George Washington, for God's sake. They toppled statues of abolitionists who freed the slaves, who died freeing the slaves. What's wrong with these people? All they want to do is see the world burn so that they can replace it from the ashes with fucking nothing because they're nothing but fucking LARPers who don't realize how fucking stupid they are. Sorry if you got kids watching. By now you should know, though. Kids shouldn't be watching my show. Alright. There was growing outrage over calls by activists, historians, and journalists to replace the Star Spangled Banner as the national anthem because it was written by a slave owner, Francis Scott Key, and potentially replace it with John Lennon's Imagine. Oh my god. Worst song ever. Historian Daniel E. Walker and activist and journalist Kevin Powell made the remarks in an article written by Yahoo music editor Lindsay Parker titled, "Why It Might Be Time to Finally Replace the Star Spangled Banner with a New National Anthem." How about no? How about we keep a little tradition in this nation? How about we have a little bit of understanding how culture and society evolves over time? Jeez. Powell suggested Lennon's Imagine as a replacement, calling it the most beautiful, unifying, all people, all backgrounds together kind of song you could have. Which means it's just a utopian fantasy. It's a fairy tale song. You know, it reminds me of, what was that episode of South Park where America is just an intergalactic reality TV show, and the kids are on the spaceship and they're talking to the producer, and they find out that Earth is just nothing but an intergalactic reality TV show, and they're asking questions, and he's like, "What? You didn't really think this is how all of the galaxy worked, huh? No, 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 no. Everywhere else you got tigers on one planet, Jews on another, Arabs on another, dogs on another. And so we took all these creatures from all these different planets and just dropped them into one and let them see what happens. Imagine does not exist in the realm of reality. It doesn't acknowledge that there are cultural value differences, disputes over resources, land. Disputes are natural in humanity because we're always going to have some sort of tribalism to us. We are a tribal people. It is in our DNA. Now, we do our best to beat down those tribal ticks in us, especially when they're just drawn over the lines of racism and immutable traits, things that are, the person has the person has no choice of what color skin they are or anything like that. But it also has no limiting factors on how they're going to contribute to the world. What the tribalism that we see today, or that that really should only exist, is cultural, because not all cultures are made equal. Not all cultures are made equal. Some cultures still have cannibalism. That's not equal. That's not equal. And you have a choice to adhere to whatever culture, no matter your race. So it's not racist at all. In fact, racism itself was a term coined by Leon Trotsky to browbeat dissenters in the Bolshevik Revolution. So, all right, before I go off on too much of a tangent, the interview has now drawn ire of many Twitter users who say it is an example of Black Lives Matter movement being used to erase American history. That's exactly what they're doing. That is exactly what they're doing. They're trying to get rid of history. It's Orwellian. It's 1984. You erase the history, and then all that exists is the present. And what was that other term from 1984? He who controls the past controls the present. He who controls the present controls the future. No, we're not giving communists that leeway. Fuck that. Fuck them. Fuck no. Again, sorry if you got kids. Walker, who is also an author, said in the interview, "The 53-year-old in me says we can't change things that have existed forever. But then there are these young people who say that America needs to live up to its real creed." You know what? That's interesting, because America is living up to its real creed. When we founded this nation, the ideas, the creed that this country was founded upon were so far ahead of their time, so far ahead of the culture, and this was a global thing. But we were so far ahead of everything, it took time for us as a people, generational time, to evolve step by step into really being able to live up to the creed of the American ideals. But when you talk about what these people are doing, you talk about what the Black Lives Matter people are doing, they're not trying to make us live true to our creed, because we're living truer to our creed than ever right now. As things are getting good, finally they want to turn it all down. They want to burn it all down. Now that things are fine, there's always going to be some assholes out there. I've already said that before. I said that in a previous video that I released earlier today. There's always going to be some assholes out there that are going to be racist. They're going to have stupid views. You know what? Just ignore those motherfuckers. Just ignore them. They don't have any power. I kind of forgot where I was going with that. I go off on so many tangents. I get so revved up here. But I know where I was going with that. So yeah, but these Black Lives Matter people, they're not trying to get us to go back to our real creed. They're trying to abolish everything that we stand for, and they're Marxists. They're trying to implement a creed of communism. But and here's the thing: if they were genuine about everything historically racist needing to be canceled today, they would cancel communism. They would cancel Marxism. Marxism was a virulent bigot. Yet they still worship at the idol, at the feet of his terrible, treacherous ideas that have led to more than 100 million deaths in just the past century. Like 1 million people dead for every year. That's Marxism. Started by a bigot. Do they want to cancel that? Fuck no, they don't, because none of this is about racism. None of it. None of it. It's about cultural Marxism uprooting our traditions. That's it. All right, where was I? Okay, but then again, there are the young people who say we need to live up to a creed, and so do I. And so I do side with the people that say we should rethink this as the national anthem, because this is about the deep-seated legacy of slavery and white supremacy in America, where we do things over and over and over again that are a slap in the face to people of color and women. Like what? Like what? Through every decade, We make more progress. We're the only nation that can really say that. And we do it naturally. We do it through evolution, not through revolution. All right. We do it first because we knew. Hold on. We do it first because we knew what we were doing and we wanted to be sexist and racist. Now, that's not true either. You know, at the time when America was founded, we were not an integrated world. I mean, the fastest way you could get from one land to another was by sea and a sailboat. You know, it took people months to go from different places around the world. We didn't know each other. We didn't understand different races. We didn't understand different cultures. We didn't understand that we're all just as capable, that we're all the same. We didn't have that science. We didn't have that experience. We didn't have that knowledge. But America was the country that integrated. We were the ones that put all these different people together. And we learned from that. We learned that we are all just people. We all have the ability to contribute, to learn, to make great things in this society. We've learned that, but it takes time. Ideas slowly evolve. These people are impatient, and they don't understand how good that they have it in America. They haven't seen other parts of the world. They haven't seen how racist things actually are. Go to anywhere in Asia and tell me that America is more racist than there. Spoiled. These people are spoiled. They want perfection. They want utopia. It doesn't exist. Utopia doesn't mean perfect place. It means no place. It doesn't exist. And that's why Marxists always have to be atheists. Because Christians, we believe in utopia. We believe in it as an afterlife. We don't believe it as something that can be achieved here on earth. Because we know the complexities of human nature and human interaction. We understand that. But we also work with a level of grace and forgiveness and mercy. And understanding that people of different times, we're not gonna be as evolved as we were. We have to work on an element of forgiveness for the past to move on. We can't constantly be griping and harping and living in it. All right. All right. The lyrics come from an 1814 poem, Defense of Fort McHenry, which Key, the son of a prominent white family, wrote after British troops descend upon Fort McHenry between September 13th and 14th, 1814. American troops defended the Baltimore harbor through the night, and in the morning, Key was inspired by the sight of the American flag over the battlefield. And that's something that doesn't have to evolve. That is something that is true to the core of America. Surviving struggle, surviving onslaught, surviving attacks, standing our ground, staking our claim. That is universally American, no matter your race. This has nothing to do with the fact that he owns slaves. It has to do with the triumphantalism of American spirit. All right. It became the national anthem in 1931. Among the lyrics is, "No refuge could save the hiring enslaved from the terror of the flight or the gloom of the grave." Historians have long disagreed over what Key meant. Some have inferred that that slaves who had joined the British colonial Marines deserved to die in battle. It's a little bit of a stretch. Others argue that he was referring to the British forces in their entirety, and I guess maybe insinuating that the British forces had some involuntary soldiers in their ranks, which wouldn't surprise me. They hadn't outlawed slavery by 1814 either. Or was it 1813 when the battle was? Whatever. Key made other more racist remarks elsewhere. Totally irrelevant to the Star Spangled Banner. Not relevant. Powell said that in the Yahoo interview, the Star Spangled Banner was written by Francis Scott Key, who was literally born into a wealthy slave-holding family in Maryland. What do you mean literally? Why do you have to throw the word literally in there? Like, we knew slavery existed back then. We got rid of it because it was evil. We even knew that at the beginning. But society, like I said, the ideas were ahead of the marketplace. We were not able to implement it right away. And the only reason that slavery even still existed in America when we formed as a nation was because we actually needed the South to battle the Brits. It was either let it persist until we can end it, or don't be a nation at all, and then who knows how long it's going to persist. You know, you got to look at the alternatives here. All right. At that time, there were attacks on Native Americans and black folks. I wonder. This actually came up in a Facebook comment that I made earlier. You know, people were talking about Mount Rushmore and the Lakota, and we should give the land back to them. And I asked, okay, well, then who should the Lakota give the land back to? And I said, well, while we're at it, why don't we go ahead and cancel natives because they had slaves too? We can end that whole debate. We'll just cancel them. They own slaves. I think the Cherokees had like 20,000 black slaves at some point. But they're probably going to get a pass from the left. Because it's all hierarchy of victimization. Where's the victory in that? Where's the glory in it? It's in the Star Spangled Banner. And they're trying to take that down. Fuck them. Alright. He was also the brother-in-law of someone who became a Supreme Court Justice, Roger Taney, who also had a very hardcore policy around slavery. Are you going to tell us what that was? Also, could that be any less relevant? Who cares about his brother-in-law, mother-in-law? We're starting to see that in cancel culture now. They're starting to fire people who are related to people who do something that anybody deems offensive or insensitive or wrong. You know, I think it was a soccer player got fired from his team for a tweet his wife liked. We saw the stepmother, or the mother-in-law, stepmother or mother-in-law, I forget which one, of Officer Rolfe in the Atlanta shooting, got fired just for being related to him. How is that fair? It's not. It's mob mentality. And guess what? If you support this shit, it's just a matter of time before they come after you too. Because guess what? Your shit stinks like everybody else. You've done some stupid shit in your life. You've said some things you probably shouldn't have. So have I. So have everybody. Fuck off. Have a little bit of grace. Have a little bit of forgiveness. Have a little bit of understanding of the complexities of human nature. Understand that sometimes jokes are just jokes and they don't mean anything. This isn't about racism. This isn't about any of that. It's about accruing power and tearing down freedom. God, this should be an episode of Revved Up. All right. And the fact that Key, when he was a lawyer, also prosecuted abolitionists, both white and black folks who wanted slavery to end, says this is someone who really did not believe in freedom for all people. You know, first of all, that's a nonsense thing to point out anyways, because, first of all, there's no context into what he was prosecuting them for. I mean, if you go and you murder somebody, it doesn't matter what you are, it doesn't matter what your personal causes are, you still murdered somebody. You're gonna get fucking prosecuted. Alright. Oh, but that actually does reveal the mindset of these Marxists. That they think anybody that has cause, or that is aligned with their cause, should get a free pass for all the crimes they commit. You know, we don't know who these abolitionists were. Just because they wanted to abolish slavery didn't mean that they were golden children elsewhere. Golden children, I think I probably slurred that a little bit, I'm so heated up. You know, if they commit a crime, they get prosecuted. But now we see in New York, they're giving passes to people who are rioting and burning down buildings just because they're aligned with a certain cause that is the cause du jour. And they're getting passes from it. Now, we can see that in their mentality. Now we see where these policy implementations are coming from. It's this cultural Marxist mindset. We need to weed this shit out of our culture. Uproot it. It's terrible. All right. Francis Scott Key. Okay, hold on. Here they say. That was one of the, and yet we celebrate him with this national anthem every time we sing it. No, we don't. No, we don't. Literally, nobody even thinks of Francis Scott Key when we sing the national anthem. We think of the battle that we survived as Americans. We think of the independence that we won from the British and then beat them back when they tried to still come after us. It's triumphantalism. It's American spirit. It's American victory. That is all anybody thinks about. Hell, most people probably don't even know who wrote the damn national anthem. We're not celebrating him every time we sing it. We're celebrating the nation and the triumphantalism that represents us. The spirit, the indomitable spirit. Well, right now, we're not looking so indomitable. We're looking dominated. Time to fix this shit. Time to stand up. He and Walker are not the first to point. Oh, this is the first one. Blah 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 blah. He and Walker are not the first to point attention towards Key and his role in history amid the ongoing Black Lives Matter movement. Nobody cares. High school graduation singer Liana Morales refused to sing the song. Who? So now you got just some high school singer, some high school graduation singer. Who cares? Who cares? Why is this person relevant? Why do their opinions matter? It's not newsworthy. I shouldn't know this person's name. Why is the Daily Mail writing about them? Hell, why is dailymail.co.uk talking about our national anthem? As far as I'm concerned, we fought a war so that you wouldn't have any goddamn say over our national anthem. All right. But critics leaped on calls to replace the national anthem, calling it a stupid idea and claiming it amounted to woke folk trying to erase American history. That's essentially all it does amount to. Because the founder of their ideas, like I said before, the founder of their ideas that they espouse was just as bad as anything American. It's not about that. They're dishonest even telling us that that's what it's about. So here we got a bunch of tweets either for or against. So Bella, most Americans do not know the history of this nation. The anthem must be replaced. No, Americans do know the history of this nation. We also know human nature. We also understand how cultures change over time. We also understand concepts of forgiveness, grace, and mercy, which is all things that this Bella chick does not understand. So we do understand the history, but we also know how to interpret it in a healthy and productive way, instead of just constantly trying to tear everything down over grievances that you never lived through. It's insanity. It's pessimism. It's cynicism. This is why I hate cynicism. You know, I know people probably think I'm a cynic just because of how revved up and angry I can get about things sometimes. But no, I'm actually a very jovial, happy person, except when it comes to people trying to take away our freedoms. And I'm actually very optimistic about the future. But it's going to take us beating these ideas down, beating these communists out of existence, getting the cultural Marxism out of our institutions. But I'm not a cynic. Not a cynic. Always have to look at the bright side. That's why I believe in the ideas of forgiveness and mercy and grace. Because I'm not a cynic. Ian Miles Chong. I like Ian Miles Chong. It's happening. There are now calls to replace the national anthem. Yep, I think most of us saw this coming. Cancel Factory, working overtime today. If the Star Spangled Banner is falling out of fashion, the American flag itself can't be far behind. He's got a point. And let's give it 3 weeks. 3 weeks and there'll be calls to get rid of... Hell, I mean, we've already... because of Colin Kaepernick, Nike had to cancel the Betsy Ross flag shoes. Colin Kaepernick, what a little bitch. The dude grew up in a white privileged home. He was adopted by a white family that gave him everything, and then he wants to scream about racism. What a fucking bitch. Alright. They want to remove the national anthem and the flag is next. People won't let them erase truth of American history. Shame on you, Yahoo Entertainment. Yeah, shame on you, Yahoo Entertainment. Denise, why it might be time to finally replace the Star Spangled... Do you think that by now people have figured out that the Democrats want to erase all of America's history because it'll be the start of the NWO? It sucks that it sounds so conspiratorial, but I really do think it's true. Globalists are behind all of this, and we know that cultural Marxism is the globalist arm of globalism. Cultural Marxism is the cultural arm of globalism. Sorry, I think I said that wrong first. And so, what stands in the way of a one-world government? Nothing stands more in the way of a one-world government than America, because we're the only nation that has such staunch and fervent belief in freedom and individual rights. No other country can say that. And no other country has the guns that we have to defend it. So, that's why George Soros said that we're the only thing standing in the way of a pure and just world, or whatever it was he said. You can check my latest revved up video where I talked about BLM and Soros funding them, and you can get the exact quote from there. We're what stands in the way of this globalist New World Order. That's why they are attacking us this way. And China's the model for that. You can see the Democrats have been selling us out to China ever since the 70s when we opened up. Henry Kissinger, don't make me open that can of worms right now. All right, so these are just texts of people or tweets of people saying, all right, among the critics was Megyn Kelly, who tweeted, "And there goes the national anthem." Others said, "They want to remove the national anthem and the flag is next. People won't let them erase truth in American history. Shame on..." Oh, that was a tweet that I already read. Cancel culture is now the... Hold on. Cancel culture is the name now being given to the increasing trend of people being fired, institutions being dismantled, and systems being broken down because they are considered offensive or racist. Yeah, it is. That's what cancel culture is. It's a cancer. It's a tumor that's growing inside us. Cultural Marxists are termites just eating away at our institutions from the inside in, hollowing out all of the structural stability of our institutions. Got to deal with it. We got to deal with it. Trump, if you see this, and I know you won't, but if you do, I think you got a plan, but give us some hints. All right. Let's see. The National Movement for Racial Equality is triggered by the... blah, blah, blah. We already know about the George Floyd killing and all that. Okay. So that's the end of this article. I guess that's pretty much the end of this video, too. I think I've made my thoughts pretty clear on where I stand on this issue. Whole bunch of Marxist bullshit gobbledygook. So please, if you like this video, like, share, comment, let me know what you think. Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. I'm going to start trying to put out these hip shots 5 days a week. I'm probably going to do two a day, at least to start out with, because, I'm still working on the Revved Up episodes. I've got a full-time job, so trying to juggle a lot of things. And please, if you like the work that I do, please consider donating. I hate to sit here with my hands out begging, but this is a lot of work. It is a job. I've been doing this YouTube thing full time now, on top of my full-time job, and I've had to put in a good bit of money investing in equipment and everything to go into it. So please, if you like what I do, go ahead and help me out, make the show a little less janky. And other than that, I'll see you at the next video. Have a good one, guys.